What's
Wait,
up, guys?
Are you doing the intro?
And welcome to another Hungover podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Julien, alongside...
The fuck up, Ivan.
God damn it, man. We work real hard on this channel. This is episode 51, by the way. Hope you guys are having a great day out there. But you can always get this podcast every Monday on iTunes, SoundCloud, and in video form on YouTube.
Wow,
Ron,
that's impressive. That's so many different forms of media.
3 different forms. We should get on more forms so more people listen to us. Yvonne, what can the people do that love this podcast or hate it? Well, hopefully not hate it.
People that already love this podcast
What should they go do?
Should make sure to rate and like and subscribe everywhere they can. Or comment on the video if you have a question, concern, an idea, something interesting to say. We love to reply to comments. We've done it only a handful of times in the past, but we love your input. But of course, that was already if you loved our stuff coming into it, or if you hated it, you could also talk about that too. But we don't ask you to like, comment, subscribe, do all that rating and stuff without listening to us, so we should get into the show. What are we talking about today, Julian?
Of course, this is a topical podcast, but we're going to be talking, and this is a gaming channel, so we're going to be talking about gaming today, specifically some of the new news that has been rolling out as the new year has started. Now, we did a podcast to start this year off, a couple predictions about the year in gaming that is to come, and we reviewed the year in gaming that preceded it, of course, 2017, and we had some things to say. But Yvonne, Xbox has come out with some new news. It seems they really haven't given up this fight just yet, the console war that is, between Sony and Microsoft. And Nintendo has been coming around and just showing off some weird new cardboard stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And we'll get into it later. But that's going to be the topic of the show. We're going to be talking about sort of where is console gaming going, and what are these three? Is the competition between the three, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, really pushing them to do some new and interesting things? So we'll get into that. But of course, we start our podcast off every single week by asking each other, what media have you been consuming through the past week, and what did you drink last night?
So what did you drink last night, Julian?
That's funny, because I don't drink anymore. I'm done. No, I haven't. I actually haven't drank anything lately.
It's solid. It's solid to go through the ebbs and flows of drinking.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to cut down on drinking a little bit, which is like kind of blasphemy for me, anyways. And I think I'm not really drinking except on the weekends, except in social situations now. It's really putting me into a bout of depression, and I'm kidding. No, I feel a lot better. I feel a little healthier, and I also take advantage of that and eat a little more. So I'm losing no weight. No, but yeah, I drank some water.
Solid.
I had some Lipton's tea today, which is a shitty tea in America. Because I was at a lecture, and that's all they had. That's all the tea they had, and I don't drink coffee. But yeah, in terms of the media I've been consuming, last week I started rewatching a little bit of Luther, the BBC show that's starring Idris Elba.
Guess who started Luther today?
You?
I did. I watched the
Holy
first
crap.
episode.
Nice, very nice.
It's a pretty good show.
It's a goddamn good show. We will have to have a Luther discussion, because I believe they're bringing the show back. They're filming a new season currently.
Well, by season you mean like 3 episodes, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Right. So this show, if you don't know, it's currently on Netflix if you want to watch it. If you have the desire to watch a really gripping and thrilling detective series taking place in, I believe, London. I'm not sure exactly
London.
Where. Okay, yeah, and
at least
starring
the first
Idris
episode
Elba.
is.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what happens later.
Starring. So you've seen the whole series?
No, the first episode. I
You've
met
never
Alice.
seen the show before.
No, I've never seen the show before.
Oh, this is great. Okay, wow. For once, I've watched an entire series and you haven't. This is news to me.
Well, there are countless animes, Julian, but yes. For this type of show, it is the first time that you beat me to the punch, which is fine. I'm going to enjoy this delve into a program
Okay,
that a lot of people like.
We'll have to have a Luther spoiler cast at some point. I think it's a really entertaining show. I think they take a little liberties and hit some of the cliches that these detective shows have. Now watching it a second time, I've noticed it, but it's still really entertaining. And the interesting thing, I guess, aside from Idris Elba and all the cool and his character alone, I think it's sort of like, have you seen the show Columbo?
I have never seen an episode of Columbo.
Okay, well, if you, the listener, have seen Columbo, it's sort of like a British modern gritty version of Columbo. That's what this show is, I think. And it's really interesting because I guess maybe this is more typical in BBC shows and in British shows. They will tend to have much shorter seasons. So the first season of Luther is only 6 episodes. I think the second season is 4 episodes, and I think there are 4 seasons. I can't remember right now. And then the third is 4, and then the last I think is 2. So it's like a 2-episode season, which is crazy. But yeah, so it's a really entertaining show. The episodes are hour long, and I suggest you guys go check it out if you have Netflix, or maybe pirate it.
I
allegedly
will check it out on Netflix. Thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah. So I've been watching that, and I haven't been watching. I guess I watched a little more of Archer as well. I'm getting caught up on Archer Vice. It's a very entertaining and funny show. And then I beat The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC, Ballad of the Champions. There's a really awesome thing that you get at the end of that DLC that makes it all worth it. You get this Zelda themed motorcycle. Spoiler alert, everyone knows. You get this motorcycle, and you can just tear it up in Hyrule as the one guy with a motorcycle. So you can't even be in a gang, but it's still pretty cool. You get a sweet motorcycle. And then what else did I do? I played a little bit of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 because I finally got unstuck in that game so I can play it again. I was really stuck because there's the one problem with that game is the mission tracker. The mission tracker it's just you know how some games have the compass as a bar on top of the screen?
Yes.
I guess
PUBG does.
Well, Xenoblade Chronicles doesn't even have that. It just has like your mission objective and a number next to it telling you how close you're getting to it, and it's on the screen, but it tells you like has an arrow pointing up or down depending on what level it's on, so you have to go higher or lower. But there's no the map system's very poor in that game, so you can't just like check on the map very quickly. Say you open the map, this is what I'm saying. The only way to open the map,
they give you a map.
Yeah,
and you
have to look at
open
a map and line it up with the screen.
And then
that would be better than the system.
There's a red dot somewhere on the screen that if you could see it through the physical map, that's where you are.
Yeah, it's shitty. It's a very convoluted way of getting to your objective, but I couldn't figure it out, and I looked it up finally, and now I know where to go. So I can play it on the train again, which is great. Oh, we're watching a weird trailer of Death Stranding right now that I actually never saw. Sorry, that was weird. That was some weird ass shit that I just saw. If you're watching the YouTube video, then you know. But for all the audio listeners, well, maybe go watch a Death Stranding trailer. Oh my god, that game's weird. Anyways, that's about me in the media realm. How about you, Ivan?
Thank you for handing it over, sir. I have been also worried about my physical fitness. I weighed myself today, and I think I've dropped 5 pounds in like a week-ish.
Good for you.
A week and a half, maybe.
Wait, so you're worrying about your physical fitness led you to lose weight?
Yes. So I've
And
been
that's why. Oh, you're going to the gym more. Okay.
cutting back on drinking, going to the gym more. So
Man,
I
it
don't.
sucks being an adult.
But I
Fucking
drank last
sucks.
night, and today I weighed the
Nice.
least I've weighed in a while. I
Wow.
drank
So
2 nights
so
ago. Yeah, not last night
so
because
what you're
last night I
saying
played soccer.
is drinking helps you lose weight.
Yeah, so I found this ginger beer at my local
Nice.
Aldi's.
It's a alcoholic ginger beer.
No, it's a non-alcoholic ginger
No,
beer.
it's a ginger beer. Okay.
And I was
And it
like, I
tastes
love
fucking
ginger
good.
beer, and what's the best thing to pair ginger beer with?
Whiskey?
That's right, Everclear.
Everclear. Oh God.
So I paired it with some New Amsterdam vodka and made myself Moscow mules.
That's just as good, I would say. I
Yeah.
would say whiskey and vodka, even though typically mixers that mix or things drinks that are made with vodka are very different than drinks that are made with whiskey. In terms of the ingredients you put in them, that's one of the things that you can mix both with. It tastes delicious.
Yeah.
Either way,
Because
you
the
go.
main focus is in the Moscow Mule is the ginger beer.
Yes, and it has the lime too,
Well,
doesn't it?
to be fair,
Typically?
I didn't put any lime in it.
Yeah. Okay.
I just did it simple. 2 ingredients: vodka
Nice.
and ginger beer.
Hey, I'm into that. I would do that too. It sounds
Yeah.
delicious.
So that was perfectly fine. And then I had one of them just plain.
Okay.
So
Because it's fucking good.
yeah. But also today I got like a quart of chocolate milk and a quart of grapefruit juice. So we'll see how much weight I gain in the next few days.
Oh, I'll tell you, I'm gonna go. I will go back to drinking. I'm drinking this weekend because I'm seeing some buddies on Saturday. We're gonna go to a cider bar in New York City. So I'll have some things to report on next week.
Well, I can tell you, I will be
Some
drinking
ciders.
this weekend too because it's I'm going to a birthday weekend and we're
Yes,
going to
of
be
course.
playing laser tag and
And
going to
drinking.
a mystery room and drinking. So
Nice.
it'll be fine. Although maybe I might get away with being a DD one night, so won't
Okay.
have to drink too much. In any case, things I've been binging this week. So I've been on a roll in terms of watching stand-up. So last week I talked
Yeah.
about Dave Chappelle, and
Very good.
yesterday while grinding Destiny 2, because I have literally, though I played several hours of Destiny 2, I have literally never listened to any of the audio from the game. Because I already played, I mean, a lot of it on PS4, so I don't really need to listen to like the gunshots
Right,
or the
of
dialogue.
course.
I skip every single cutscene.
You're
And I
just
skip
doing it again on PC.
lots through the missions on a Sparrow as much as I can. Anyway, so
Speed running Destiny 2.
yeah, basically to get to the raid level that I want. In any
Right.
case, last night I listened to 3 different comedians, and they
That's
were
impressive.
pretty different all in a row. So it's like an hour-long special because Netflix, as part of their business strategy, has really focused on the niche market of comedy because
Yeah.
I think that a lot of places lost, like Comedy Central used to be the place where all comedians had their stand-up special and whatnot, and I think because of cord cutting and all of that, a lot of people have stopped watching the stand-up comics a lot, and so Netflix saw that market inefficiency, picked it up, and they've been spending millions of dollars on comedians. So we got
Right.
Dave Chappelle, Jerry Seinfeld, and last night I watched 3, I wouldn't call them lower tier comics, but 3 not as well known comics. But I mean, 1 not well known, 2 pretty well known, but not for
Okay.
a while. So the first one I watched just because it popped up on the Netflix bar was Todd Glass, I think his name is.
Okay.
It's called, his special is called Act Happy, and what was interesting about
Is
him?
he American?
Yeah,
Or-
he's American.
He's American.
What's interesting about him is that he has like a little brass band on him, on stage with him.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
he does a little bit, like they play music. He does a little bit of singing. So it's not a full like just stand up act. It's kind
It's a
of
performance. Well, it's
uh,
always a performance.
yeah, but it's kind of a musical performance and a musical comedy and a comedy at the same time. So it's
that's
pretty
really cool.
interesting. And his stand up set wasn't like the funniest thing I've ever heard, but it had a few really poignant jokes. You know, Chris Rock likes to say that comedians are modern philosophers, and
Okay.
they do a
Okay.
lot of analyzing society and talking about
Definitely, yeah.
the niches of society that like either the things that we're too unobservant or we're just going with the flow to talk to like think about like the way that we now like on a subway, right? This is how you process how people are.
Right, yeah.
And so you just go with that rather than really in-depth thinking about all of the processes of what it is to be on a subway car, which is what some comedians would do, or taking that situation and applying it to different things. So Todd Glass was pretty interesting because it was mixed media, and not super mixed media, but it was musical and comedy. So I enjoyed it, and he's an interesting guy. So one of the things that one of his jokes is that he's openly gay now, because I mean he definitely talks about it in his comedy act for this special, but for 15 years he wasn't openly gay, but he would tell stories about his relationship on stage, but make it instead of his boyfriend, it would be his girlfriend.
Okay.
And he was basically saying that there are no differences in relationships. It's all the same. Like everyone can understand each other the same way.
Right.
And I felt that same line of thinking I also got from watching Lady Bird, because I just watched
Nice.
Lady Bird
I haven't seen that.
over the weekend. I really highly
Supposed to be
recommend
good.
that movie. And even though it's a movie written and directed by Greta Gerwig, a woman, and it stars Saoirse Ronan, who is in Brooklyn and Atonement, and plays this pivotal teenager, and the other character that's pretty much focused. It's a lot about female relationships, so either female friends or, authority figures, whether it be your mother or like a nun or whatever. So, but what I found from that movie is that there wasn't any relationship that I was like, I don't get this. This is a perspective that I don't understand. I think throughout that entire movie, even though it was exploring all of these relationships, mostly like from a female perspective, it wasn't unrelatable, and that was something that I thought made it stand out and be excellent. And so I really loved Lady Bird as a film. I think it's tremendous. Everyone should go see it. I think it'll have a long run on like cable, etc. It should definitely win a whole bunch of awards, and I'm really rooting for it. I'm not going to give away too much because I thought the performances were really powerful. Unlike Three Billboards, which I also saw, you can't really tell where the direction is coming from. The lines feel very natural, and there's humor in it, there's emotion in it, and there's a lot of cringe in it in really good places too, because it's a high school teenage coming of age story. So I think it would be right up your alley.
Even I would like it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I thought that was one line that I really pulled out from both Todd Glass and from Lady Bird, was this, you can tell stories about relationships and humanity, and even if it's from not the standard perspective that we're used to seeing, or not our perspective, right? So I'm cisgender, I've only had male-female relationships. I can understand the kinds of stories that these people are telling. So that was really cool. Then I watched Bill Burr. To give some
Very
contrast to that.
Yes.
And Bill Burr is if you don't know, he's a comedian from Boston. He's now a bald, redheaded man who is very typical Boston masculinity. And even though it feels like he's stuck between generations, like he doesn't appreciate a lot of millennial culture in terms of
not at all
feeling soft and understanding of things, but he also is critical of an older culture of racism and things like that.
Right.
But
absolutely.
he's trying to find the line and not really find the line, but he's trying to navigate the line as he sees it being fit. So he'll talk about being anti-racist in a way, like he in this special, which is on Netflix as well, he denigrated Trump for being super racist, but he was also uneven in his talk about women.
Yeah, I probably, well, I mean, what was this, a new special of his?
It's a Netflix special that I think came out within the past 6 months or so.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Well, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily. Oh, well, yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not disagreeing with you. I haven't seen it, so yeah.
and something that Bill Burr says is like he has some jokes that are kind of like ridiculous situations, like talking about.
What I'm saying. I'm trying to say I could see it happening. That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
So he has some ridiculous jokes about like a gorilla and being able to talk to a gorilla, and then he also has jokes about body shape and things like that, and giving advice to wives and things, or women in relationships.
Okay.
And it's just like,
That's not funny anymore, dude.
no, I wouldn't say that it's not, because I'm laughing at it, but it's like, you can't fully take someone serious who's making like dick gorilla jokes, and then also like laugh at those and feel that that is total nonsense and be okay with the absurdity of that, and then be angry with somebody who's then making a statement that doesn't conform with your lines. So there needs to be some balance and nuance in the criticism of that, but I just feel like it's a little misplaced. I'm not his perfect audience, and I think that he can be funny, and he's obviously understood a lot of comedic stuff, but I don't know, it felt a little in between generations, and I didn't feel fully in his audience. So it wasn't as funny. Todd Glass was pretty chill. Bill Burr, I laughed at some of the stories and absurdity, but wasn't super comfortable with everything, which is fine. And then I finished it off with some Cat Williams, and Cat Williams is amazing and super funny. Cat Williams
is always funny, man.
And
I like that guy.
I am upset that I haven't watched this special since the Hey Ya dressed special, the Andre 3000 looking special. So
yeah, that's a great special.
So Cat Williams was.
I used to watch a lot of comedy.
With it and funny, and he was modern and talked to his audience, but made it in a way that was generally funny, and was able to talk a lot about the issues of the day. He also had some stuff that was kind of weird, like he has a whole bit on Viagra.
That's awesome.
But do whatever, right? You can, if you can take the part where he's talking about Trump and Obama for like 20 minutes, then you can sit through the 5 minutes of Viagra. I just didn't think that it was the strongest material to end on, but I guess you have to hit the climax with Viagra.
Exactly.
So that's the media I've been consuming mostly, is just Destiny 2 and watching or listening to comedy on the side.
Nice. That sounds like a pretty relaxing time.
It's solid. It's pretty good.
Well, do you think that we're gonna be having some relaxing times in gaming in the future?
No.
2018, the near future.
Because ever since I've gotten my PC,
nothing works.
I have had
drivers.
A pain in my shoulder right here from being so tense playing PUBG.
Oh man.
So there's more gaming in my life just makes it too tense.
Oh yeah, that's the problem with mouse and keyboard. You have to be hunched over.
But I was playing Destiny, and I was able to just like lean back and be okay. It's because Destiny, I don't feel any pressure. I basically I got Sunshot, and I've updated it as much as possible, and it's amazing. You just get headshots. All of the thralls blow up. It is the best weapon.
It is a great weapon. I do really like that weapon.
And I love hand cannons, so yeah. Anyway,
oh, nice. Well,
Uh,
you gotta get Crimson. I really want that gun. That's my gun. I need to get it.
okay.
You need to look up what that does. So, Yvonne, I
Yo.
think we should start off talking with the topic of the show, obviously, I think we should talk about Xbox Game Pass. I don't know why it's not called Xbox Games Pass. That's sort of rolls off the tongue a little better, I think. But Xbox Game Pass has announced a new thing. So this is, if you don't know what Xbox Game Pass is, it's a service that Microsoft rolled out at the end of last year, where you could pay $10 a month and you can essentially download a game or multiple games from their library of the Xbox Game Pass library to your console and play it for the whole month for $10. As many games as you want. So essentially, it's a games as a service
It's
model
like
that's
GameFly,
sort of like
but
Netflix.
fully digital.
Yeah, and
Netflix
exactly.
is the better analogy.
Yeah, except it's not streamed games. So the games are on your hardware, on your Xbox, or apparently on your computer, as we looked up. That don't quote us on that one. I have to look into that. But yeah, so you can download the game onto your hardware, so there's no latency. You essentially have the game, and then when the month is up, and the thing is, they rotate the games in the library. So like Netflix, they can't hold the license for the movies and the TV shows forever. So you watch it while it's on there, and similar to Xbox Game Pass, you play it while it's on there. And then they give you the option of just buying it outright. I think at a discount later on, if it's not on the service anymore.
Interesting.
So the biggest news that they came out with last week, or no, it was this week. Well, it's last week when you're listening to this. So the week of the 24th of
It's
January.
today when we recorded it.
Oh God, the week of today. Is essentially now they've announced, starting with the game Sea of Thieves, they're going to be releasing day and date on Xbox Game Pass all Xbox first-party games. So that means the next Halo 6, and the next Gears of War are going to be on Xbox Game Pass as soon as they come out.
Day one.
You can essentially, day one, you can essentially get these games for $10 now. For a month, and then if you don't want to keep them, if you're done with the game after a month, then you paid $10 for it. And so that's a really huge move on Microsoft's part, and they're really focusing on making gaming on Xbox a really high quality experience, or at least in my opinion, with the backwards compatibility. They've been slowly rolling out more and more and more games. You can just download to your Xbox. You don't even need the disc. But if you have the disc for your Xbox 360 game, you can just put it in the Xbox One. So that's pretty cool. So they're just making the Xbox One a very convenient place to game. You have everything at your fingertips, essentially, and they're continually increasing quality of life things. So even like the Xbox One Elite controller is, I think, probably the best gaming controller ever made. I held one once. It was
scum.
I'm a shill, so it's what it is. I don't even have Xbox Live. I'm just talking. I don't want to buy Xbox Live. So the thing also with Xbox Game Pass is you don't need Xbox Live to use it unless you want to use the multiplayer function of the games. So that's a pretty big move on their part. So what do you think about all this, Ivan?
Well, if we remember what happened when the Xbox One launched, it was supposed to be kind of like this digital paradise playground, right? And then
that was always online, connected.
That was always online. Everything is going to be moving to this digital platform, and then everybody went up in arms. And I think the reason that everybody went up in arms wasn't really the idea, but how the idea was presented. I think it was presented in a really shocking way that was like, here nerds, let me tell you what you're going to do, with no kind of easing in. So even though this was the future of gaming and most people saw this as where it was going, it seemed a little shocking at first, and a lot of people reacted negatively. go figure, on the internet, gamers are going to react negatively to big changes.
Specifically
as soon
gamers.
as they come out. I
God
mean,
damn them.
everybody reacts negatively, really.
Yeah.
To changes. It's shouldn't we learn from like kindergarten that change can be good?
And it definitely is going to happen whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
So,
in any case, this was kind of what the Xbox One X was supposed to be, right? The Xbox One, Xbox One X. They were all supposed to be this platform through which you get digital content. Remember?
it was going to be the center of your... They were trying to be the center of your living room because
it was going to be the cable box. It was going to be your sports.
pass-through.
Yeah.
HDMI in. You can control your TV with it. I think that's a pretty underused feature, probably. But
probably. I don't have one, so I couldn't tell you.
I have one. I don't use it for that. I use it to play Cuphead. And I don't even do that. I play that on my PC.
So now we have...
I have it for Dark Souls 3.
This Xbox system which will allow for greater access to new games, and I think this is kind of... They saw how it was going to happen, and rolling out in this way will make it much more accepted by the community. I think people are going to be really excited to get a $60 game at a $10 value. So essentially, you can spend 6 months of getting this Xbox Game Pass service for the price of a single game. That's really awesome.
It's actually technically less than the single game by 5 cents. The game is $59.99. But if you buy $9.99 times 6, you get $59.94. I think it's less than $59.99 by like a couple cents. All right, I made that up. All right, let me.
6 times 9 is 54. So yes, it'll be less by 4 cents or 5 cents. Anyway, I can't believe. That was the comment there.
Yes. Okay. Keep going.
So I think this is an awesome way to introduce this feature. I think it'll be much talked about, and I think it's a lot better than the system that we have on PlayStation right now with PS Plus or the PS Now.
Yeah.
And I think it's leagues better than what the Nintendo has, considering they don't have the full catalog available on Nintendo Switch.
Right, so, they don't at all. They're
so
slowly porting everything to it, but yes, they don't have
starting
it.
with your oldest games first.
Yes. But yeah.
Have you ever wanted to play the game where you picked up blocks and put them down? Well, now you can do it again with co-op.
Right. So exactly. So if we compare it to the PS Now service, which is PlayStation's... They bought a company with foresight. They bought the company Gaikai, which is a streaming service company.
Basically for the technology.
Yeah, basically for the technology, so they could own this technology and put it on all their devices, which they sort of rolled back, and now it only works on PS4 and I think PS3. But basically, they have a similar service, although it's confusing in its pricing. And the main difference is you stream the games. So you don't download any of the games to your console. You actually end up streaming them. And so this is not a problem when you're watching something on Netflix. We stream videos all the time. It's not too difficult to do that over a common internet service rating that you could get for fairly cheaply. But when it comes to gaming, the smallest bit of latency can end up, due to streaming your game, for instance, can end up totally throwing off all your gameplay. You basically can't play games in a multiplayer fashion, and any game that like runs at 60 frames per second is going to have a huge amount of latency, I'm guessing. And I've been listening to Kind of Funny podcasts where they asked the community which one do you like more, Xbox Game Pass or PS Now, and they have people writing in about PS Now and how it's really nice to be able to instantly play these games. So like you don't have to wait for it to download, and that library is just there whenever you want it, and all you have to do is just pay in whatever the price is. I don't know what the price is, and you don't have to wait. So that's a really cool feature, but the problem is the latency, and the latency is an active problem when it comes to gaming. So it's not as good of a feature, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, yeah, it is that trade-off. If you have a good enough internet connection, I suppose it shouldn't be the problem, right? It should be
technically
stable.
It should be stable, but I don't know if anyone has good enough internet to play, to say if Overwatch was on it, let's say. I don't think anyone has good enough internet to stream Overwatch on their PS4 device, as opposed to just downloading it and playing the multiplayer.
A solid point.
Right. So that takes a lot of internet power.
Okay. Fair enough.
The point was we know what Xbox is trying to do here, or we have an idea of what Xbox is trying to do here. That's one future prediction or future service that Xbox is providing in the near future. PlayStation Now doesn't seem to be changing, although they just seem to be adding new games to it every now and then just updating the service, whatever. But Nintendo seems to be going off in a completely different direction with their Nintendo Labo. So Nintendo just announced their new cardboard add-on to the Nintendo Switch, or cardboard add-ons.
Right.
Essentially, they're going to be, and this is targeted specifically towards kids, or the kids at heart, as they say. And Nintendo Labo is basically going to be all these sort of creative ways of using the Nintendo Switch as essentially a toy, or a very interactive toy. So a video game that sort of seems like a toy. And they're going to be using cardboard to do this. Did you watch the trailer for Nintendo Labo?
I watched the trailer, and
because that's all we have to go off of.
Interested and excited.
Right.
About what the Labo is. I also think, as Nintendo is wont to do, rather than focus on delivering what they promised at their gosh darn conference when they said it would be ready by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And it's not. With the ability to communicate online and do all that on a stable platform. Yeah. Bringing the back catalog to Switch.
Do it.
Doing any of that on a stable basis. Here we go with Nintendo Labo.
Nintendo Labo, man.
it's amazing how Nintendo is like, you know that thing you really want? I don't know that we've been working on it, but here's this other thing.
we've been tinkering away with cardboard. We've been sending because imagine how long they must have been working on this since they had the concept, since they launched the Switch, right? At least
it's basically
this
a 3D
takes a lot of work.
How do we integrate 3D printer for people at home? And then they're like, we can't, but if we send them cardboard, they can pop things out and assemble it at home. It's the
apparently
first time they go outside.
Yeah, it's apparently some of these Nintendo Labo toy cons are gonna take upwards of 2 hours to make. So I could, Yvonne, we could make a video about it because we've always been wanting to make a Gunpla Gundam making video at some point, because we have to get some first, but we could just replace it with Labo and then play the games.
That sounds great. I would love to give a recital on my 13-key piano.
Well, we could also
by Nintendo.
We could 420 blaze it as well, because it comes out on 420, which is, I feel like someone's gonna burn down their house using this cardboard somehow. They could use it as an ashtray. But
420
anyways,
also Hitler's birthday.
apparently, yeah. So maybe that's what they'll be burning down. No, I think all jokes aside, I think it's a really interesting thing. I'm really glad that Nintendo has enough is in a position now where they're no longer cornered and trying to outplay Microsoft and Sony. They're just going off to their own beat and doing whatever the fuck they want. I think that's where Nintendo excels. They're always trying to innovate in some way and try to make games more accessible to everyone. So I think that's a really great thing that they're doing with Nintendo Labo, whether or not I get it. And have any fun with it.
I think another part of it is that Nintendo Labo seems to have a little bit, at least to me.
Yeah.
It does feel like it has some regrets as to how kids are growing up today. So Nintendo has been so focused on this screen-based application, right? So the Switch, all of their consoles are screen-based, right? And with integrating mobility to that screenplay, the CEOs are walking from their front door to their car or whatever, right? But people who are working there are going, these kids are always looking down. They're not interacting. They're marrying computers. How do we increase their want to interact with something physical and the physicality of it? And I think that it's really awesome that even though this is integrated with the screen, right? You can't take away the screen with these toys or with the idea of what the Switch is, but you can bring more physicality to it. And I think things like making a piano out of it or making some things where the screen might be away from what you're actually doing, like the Joy-Con is the important thing to make notes for the piano, for instance. This might be a way to increase that tactile feeling and having a toy that is a physical toy rather than going that way of being 100% digital, right? So Nintendo has always been a family-focused game company that has really thought through how to increase family activity, building things around games, being cutesy, etc. And I think this is a different path. So, like, Nintendo engineers who go home don't just have this screen to give to their kids. They can be like, hey, let's work on this together. And it's building that camaraderie and working with their family in a totally different way. And I think that's actually super innovative and exciting just for the standards of living that we're moving towards. I would really like more physical interaction, physical peripherals, things like that could be of this nature to get kids or people away from just their screens. It's so impressive to look at like kids gatherings or teenage gatherings or today and just look at like half of the crowd of kids are just on their phone. Even on the dance floor, their phone is there and it's the main focus. Versus like kids who are like just dancing and doing other things, interacting with friends. It's like such integral parts. Technology is integrated so deeply that it does feel like it's gone too far in one way, and this might be a way to bring it back a little bit. And I like that.
I actually just went to a talk on wearable technology, so
yeah, it seems like they're saying that the future is going to be like taking all of the parts of the phone, separating them out, and having them be wearable before they can all reconjoin and be one single piece of technology, which is, oh my god, why?
Well, I thought it was some of the things that in this talk were pretty interesting in terms of how they're integrating circuits into and sensors specifically into our clothing, into fabrics and things. I thought that was really cool, but of course I don't necessarily, as much as I want to be a cyborg, I don't necessarily want to lose all humanity.
Big Brother's gonna be watching you, man.
Yeah, I don't necessarily. I don't like this.
It's gonna be like Will Smith in
I don't like the cloud.
Enemy of the State, by the way. That is literally where this is going.
That's why we all need to buy Nintendo Labo, which is going to be increasingly expensive. So people saying this is a great toy for kids. It's not a cheap toy for kids, so it does require the Nintendo Switch. You're going to have to pay $300 for that, and then you have to buy the game plus the cardboard thing. So they're selling two bundles on 420. There's going to be a $60 a $70 bundle, and an $80 bundle. Both of them come with the game or whatever this software is that runs the cardboard things. And then they also come with the cardboard things. So you're essentially paying about $10 or $20 for the cardboard cutouts, which is, I think, for the amount, I guess the amount of you must be getting a lot of cardboard. So I don't know. It seems kind of expensive, but then again, it's highly designed.
Well, it's
designer
probably
cardboard.
Thick cardboard, and it might be like wax covered in order to prevent it from being damaged.
I hope it's
in
wax
rain
covered,
and things like that. So, I mean, not to say whatever. Nintendo's always been a company that's focused on making profits through all endeavors. So, not to say that that's not their focus this time, but it kind of seems like, it's just like the way when you design a pill, right?
Yeah.
And you design the pill and and you sell the pill, and then down the line people are like, how come you're selling this pill for $500? It takes $10 to make this pill. And they're like, yes, exactly. This third pill takes $10 to make. The first pill takes several million in R&D. So, I mean, there's that level of how much time it took to engineer these crafts and things like that. So that's all built into recouping the price. So.
And yeah, let's not belittle the fact that these are some pretty complex cardboard, 3D cardboard structures that you're going to be creating.
Going to take 2 hours to make something?
Yeah, for a couple of them. I mean, some of them are going to take 5 minutes to make. But for instance, I think maybe making the piano will take quite a bit of time. There are a lot of moving parts in that, and you have to fold them all, and you have to line them up perfectly and things like this. But yeah, the robot thing is supposed to be pretty complex. Has a lot of moving parts and strings and things.
It looks like it's got like rubber bands and things to give resistance. So
yeah, I'm excited.
It looks cool.
Yeah, so that's about it with Nintendo and Microsoft. Do you think that Nintendo going off in this direction and Microsoft sort of making the user experience a little bit more comfortable and accessible, do you think that Sony's going to be pressured to do anything different than what they've been doing? Or do you think they're just going to be going, you know what, we've sold, I don't know, like 80 million PS4s already, and we're about to sell 80 million more because we've got all the fucking games coming out because we actually invested in first-party gaming? As opposed to Microsoft. What do you think do you think Sony's going to be forced to do something, or do you think they're just going to be fine?
Well,
in this console war.
I think Xbox missed the boat for a lot of what they were trying to do. So Microsoft's focus was like build out the experience, make the Xbox the all-in-one machine that you want. And then when that didn't work, they're like, we're going to make it the biggest badass machine possible, and
the most powerful one.
It's the most powerful console
Xbox
ever made.
One X.
But I think what Nintendo shows is that doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't matter how powerful it is as long as you can easily access it and it plays the games that you want.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's where PS4 had them beat. I think PS4 and Sony had the better first-party exclusives. I think Sony has the better exclusives on their platform, and that's why they were winning. Not to mention all of the, as we can recall, all of the problems with the UI, all of the interface stuff. It was just the Xbox at launch was a mess.
Yes.
But I think that a lot of that has been fixed and smoothed out, and it's much better. But I think PS4 won this round based on their exclusives. Now, how does that play out with this kind of new Xbox Game Pass? I think if Xbox is in the lead in this console war, this doesn't get put out.
The what?
The Game Pass.
It's already out.
No. I mean, like, the new games don't get put out with Game Pass.
Oh, okay.
Do
you think they're going to draw that back?
No,
They're
I
gonna go
think
back
that
and...
if they had been in the lead, if they
Oh,
had been
oh, oh! I see. I
outselling,
see where you. Yes, absolutely.
and
Okay.
had more larger market share, that this wouldn't have come along so soon. I think this would have been um, a little bit further down the pipeline, maybe in the next console generation, but not
Hmm.
necessarily for this console generation. And
Yeah.
it feels like a catch up move, which is great. I think it will work in terms of being a reason to sell Xboxes or
Hmm.
to sell more PCs to play those Xbox games. But I think in general, Sony doesn't have much to change. They have such a large cap on the market share of this console generation that it's I don't think it's such a big deal. What about you?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Sony's going to change trajectory at all in terms of any sort of services that they're going to roll out. I don't think they're going to be forced to do any sort of like change PS Now to be an Xbox Game Pass type service. I don't think they're going to change their trajectory. I think that they're making plenty of money and they don't see anyone as a threat currently. And I don't think they'll see anyone as a threat going throughout this year because they have, I mean, we've been, for the past year and a half, we've been talking about all these first party games that are going to come out of Sony, and apparently five of them, or at least three of them, are going to come out this year. So that's very big news for them, and that's going to sell, like the Spider Man game's going to sell so many PS4s, I think. It's an exclusive to PlayStation, so that's a really big move for them.
And it just looks good.
And it looks like a good game, to be honest. I cannot wait for that game. And then God of War is going to sell like hotcakes. I mean, we all know everyone loves God of War. I'm actually very excited for that game. I hope you guys are too, and you check it out on our channel when we play it.
I also think Xbox or Microsoft has been slow on launching new iterations of their exclusive titles.
Right, so we haven't heard a word of Halo 6, and Halo 5 came out, I believe, a year, no,
Really
2 years
long
ago
time
now.
I feel like.
I think it came out 2 years ago now, but I think it came out in 2016. And so,
2015 October.
oh, it came out in 2015. That's crazy. So it has been a long time, and I think we're gonna hear something about Halo 6 this year. Um, and it look. So I think Xbox is sort of what they're doing now is they're playing the long game. I mean, eventually we're gonna have another console cycle, I'm guessing, and I think we'll probably start hearing rumblings about that next year. So Xbox is playing the long game here. They're introducing all of these services that we're gonna come, that are just gonna be like second nature to us by the end of this console cycle. You know, Xbox Game Pass is going to be a huge thing, and that's going to roll over to the next console cycle, and you're going to have all the games that you know and love from the backwards compatibility. You can just download them right onto the next console. So you're just going to automatically be in that ecosystem, and you're going to be so invested. They're trying to get people in deep and, you know, register their credit cards on their account. And just because
Have
how
that
it is,
subscription
right?
and forget that you have it.
Exactly. You set it and forget it with the credit cards, especially for like the Netflix type models. You can't do that without a credit card, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
At least Xbox Live you can still get without a credit card. But yeah, so I think they're just getting people in now, and they're preparing. I think they're trying to do what they can for gamers that are already invested in Xbox, and they're going to, you know, plan for the long run, and we'll see what happens. I think they're making all the right moves now. I think Xbox is the console for the gamers currently. I know Sony has a lot of good games coming out, but I think in terms of services, you're going to have, if you're just looking for third-party games, I think Xbox is a pretty good place to go right now. But then again, if you're looking for first-party games, it's not. So
I think lot of. I think PC has been able.
Oh, and
to
you
make,
don't have a PC. Sorry, that's
right.
That's I should have said.
Because of the lackluster first-party exclusives, I think PC has recaptured a lot of the excuse me, a lot of the console territory.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think PC became cheaper in general, and then people were looking
Well,
at the
except for
prices.
GPUs.
Right now it's a little different, but people were looking at the prices, the new prices of things, and looking how much it would take to build a
Mhm.
comparable PC, and being like, not terrible. I know
Yeah,
that was a lot of my consideration. Is I finally had enough money to buy and build a PC that will last for several years, and I can upgrade it slowly in chunks now that it will be able
yeah,
to last me for a very long time.
yeah,
And
man.
it's going to last me for longer than what it seems like these console generations are becoming. It seems like the console generations are shrinking in terms of how long they're going to stay out. Like, you can kind of count the PS4 Pro and the Project Scorpio released Xbox One X as kind of different consoles.
They
Um,
play all the same games.
but their strengths are so different, and it feels the gameplay is so different. The focus being on 4K, as 4K
Right.
screens come down in terms of their pricing, then we'll see more Xbox One X being released, etc. Most things prefer to the 60 frame Xbox One X Scorpio, things like that. Um, so I think this that the consoles lost a lot of room that they had to PC, and I think that in general this is making consoles push for different, more elaborate ways of looking more like PC. So Xbox One, the Xbox Game Pass, looks very much like a challenge not just to PS4s or the PlayStation Now, but also to Steam.
Yeah,
So
I see what
it
you're saying.
seems like there's been a greater push to for Microsoft to get into that realm of gaming in a way that I don't think the Microsoft Store has that same feel to it, especially on PC. I don't know that I've ever purchased a game on the Microsoft Store, but I have Steam on every single PC that I own. So,
Right, Steam is everywhere.
and that's not a Microsoft title, you know. So I think this is a good way for them to build more capacity in that realm, especially on consoles. And they integrated console PC gaming.
Cool. Yeah, I hope that 2018 is going to be a good year for gaming. I think as it's shaping out, it's going to be an excellent year, possibly better than 2017. Um, Maybe based off of Sony's games alone, but I'm sure Nintendo has something up their sleeve. I mean, they've just announced a couple games coming out, and there's Nintendo Labo, and Microsoft is still they have Sea of Thieves coming out, and I'm very excited for that. And then that's about it, as far as I know. But yeah,
It's
so
incredible though, in the first year of the release of the Switch, that they had both a
Zelda and
new
Mario.
Mario and a new Zelda game.
Yeah, no, they had a great year, and that's why I hope they don't get too cocky with this that great first year and then switching on to Labo. You know, I what I'm saying is, like, I hope they don't think that they can just be super weird. Labo's pretty weird, but we'll
Just
see
give me
what it
GameCube
turns into.
games on the Switch and I'll
I
buy
swear
it.
to fucking God, just give me Melee, and that's all. And
Mario
maybe
Party.
add online. Mario Party 4, please.
Yes.
Yes, that would be great. Well, yeah. So, Yvonne, are you excited for any games coming out? I guess we can end with that.
Um,
Currently, besides Sea of Thieves
I'm really excited to check Sea
and
of Thieves
Spider-Man.
out, actually. It looks like a really fun game. I've always been fascinated with that kind of
Pirates.
naval combat, because
Yeah,
it's very difficult to get right
you
in
can get
games.
Skull and Bones then.
Yeah,
That's the
so
other one.
I'm interested to see how this one shapes, and I like the art style. I think that can hold up, just like Overwatch's kind of cel shady art
Right.
style holds up. So I
I
think
think
Sea
the
of
graphics look
Thieves
great.
looks really great, and I love like asymmetrical gameplay and more innovative gameplay features in a first-person shooter type game. So I'm
Yeah.
excited for Sea of Thieves, actually.
Cool. I'm very excited for that game. I'm excited for Spider-Man, and I can't wait for Dark Souls on Switch.
Ugh.
Then I'll finally hate my subway rides even more than I already do. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Tell us in the comment section below what you think of Nintendo Labo, Xbox Game Pass, and what games you're excited for. Or you could tweet at us. You know how it is. All our social media stuff is in the comments section below. Now,
Right down
Ron, we end our podcast every single week in a song in a segment called Hungover Radio.
Wait, we end the podcast?
Yes.
I just leave this running. The recording.
God. Oh my god. That's why the fucking files are so large.
Why
God
I've
damn
had
it!
to buy like 3 hard drives. Wait, you end after... God damn it.
If you're a listener out there, you can send in your music. If you have any, which clearly none of you do. God damn it. Just send in a song, for Christ's sake, because it's free advertisement for you. You could have your music listened to by 27 other people. Aren't you excited? For free. How cool is that? Actually, 26 because you're one of them. Now, Ivan, if no one sends in a song, then I'm forced to come up with one. But today you actually came up with a song. I applaud you, sir.
Thank you.
It's because you've been playing so much goddamn Destiny that we're gonna listen to the Destiny 2 full main theme with download in parentheses. That's the name of the YouTube video that I have open, and that's the song we're gonna play. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. I'm Julien.
I'm Ivan. Thanks so much. Talk to you next week.
Peace out.
Bye.